Hey, I'm Mark Stevens, author of Government Indicted, which you can get at markstevens.net, where we're bringing about a voluntary society, one visitor at a time. And we also have, in Government Indicted, you'll find a full model for learning how to effectively defend yourself against bureaucratic attacks that has proven, as you go through these success stories, it has proven to be successful on 3 continents. All we're using is the Socratic method, basic principles of logic, to bring out that they don't have any evidence to support their claims. And we also do a radio show called the No State Project. We're live most weeks for 4 hours, 3 on the Liberty Radio Network, and then an hour on Wednesday. And we call it Anarchy Radio and we want to get to a voluntary society or an anarchist society because we reject the concept of rulers and having rulers. And that we believe in rules. The main rule being do no harm, and that aggression is wrong, and that we believe as anarchists that we are, as an anarchist, be logically and ethically consistent. We don't allow a double standard so that a select few people who call themselves government are accepted from these basic principles of do no harm and aggression is wrong. So we have another success story here. I know that I like to only post documentary proof with a success story. So February 24th is not the last time we had something thrown out. We had significant issues thrown out because Jermaine got a mistrial. We reported that on the show a few weeks ago. He got a mistrial, and all these weeks later, they have not refiled against him. There were 5 charges and a drug charge. So he did get a mistrial on his own, pro per, without a lawyer. Yes, he beat a prosecutor, and we don't have the documentary proof, so I don't post that. But this new one we do. But real quick, I know there's an issue with my website. It's a small thing. I couldn't update. I won't be able to update the website for another day or so. But last video, check it out. Information is not always evidence or proof. There's been some criticism that the Constitution being information then automatically means that it's evidence that it applies, and it's obviously not true. Not all information is evidence. There's a relevancy test that it has to go through, and then there's a logical test. You have to go through some critical analysis to see, does this information actually prove the proposition? So if the proposition is a written instrument nobody bothered to sign from 200 years ago applies to everybody in North America, yes, the Constitution is information, but is it evidence in that it proves the proposition? How does the document prove it applies to everybody? No, it's begging the question. It's a non sequitur. There has to be some proof. There has to be some information that actually proves. So this is what we use in court all the time. We use basic principles of logic because we have another success story that we've got to report. And this is great. This is a bit more significant because there it is. Oh, man, look at that Photoshop job. Check that out. Real quick, before anyone complains, I really don't care when someone complains and that I have blacked out, redacted the names. Unless someone specifically tells me, because this is their privacy, unless someone specifically tells me, Mark, you can post this unredacted, I'm going to blot out most of the personal information. I mean, this came from Greg, and I do appreciate that. A big congratulations, and thank you for sending me this documentary proof. What you'll see here is this isn't just an ordinary traffic dismissal. This came from the appellate department there in Alameda County in California. And this is big. I mean, we've had appeals thrown out before. I wasn't always posting stuff, prior to like 2008 or 9, I wasn't very good at posting stuff online. But anyway, so I don't have all the documentation posted, but we do have documentation that I need to get posted. But here is the most recent one. This just came down a few weeks ago, or last month, and Greg sent it. He just got it, and he sent it to me. Yes, it is an infraction. I get that. I know. I already know we're going to, yes, I posted it's just a traffic ticket. Yeah, for all the critics who like to move the goalposts and try to piss on this and take away the significance. I'll explain a bit. Yes, it was an infraction, and infractions are as difficult as any tickets to get thrown out, especially in California. They just don't give a damn in traffic court. So I helped Greg. We did the usual, the demur, which is basically the same as a motion to dismiss, and a discovery request. And what the motion to dismiss is doing is attacking the sufficiency of the complaint. The complaint does not set forth sufficient facts to constitute an offense. There is not sufficient evidence pled to show that there's jurisdiction. There isn't a valid cause of action because it's in the nature of a civil proceeding. Well, they say it's quasi-criminal. It's not civil. It's not. It comprises. It's such a stupid thing, but it's still something that you could get thrown in jail for contempt. And anyway, so that was all denied. He was denied a fair trial because he wasn't allowed to cross-examine the police officer effectively because they know that their Achilles heel is they have no proof and no information that would prove that just because Greg is physically in California that their constitutional laws apply. Yes, the Constitution is information, but the information doesn't prove. You see that it's not relevant to proving, or it doesn't prove the proposition. So he was pronounced guilty. He immediately filed an appeal, which I helped with. The basic issues on appeal, what I've already said. There was a lack of evidence proving the Constitution and Code applied, so they could not prove territorial or personal jurisdiction. They could not set forth every element of the infraction, the charge, which goes to subject matter jurisdiction, which can't be waived, because there was no evidence proving that the code applied just because he's physically in California. So they couldn't set that forth. And, of course, it was denial of a fair trial because he was not able to effectively cross-examine the witness. The judge may only disallow questions on cross-examination that are not relevant. And the thing about a cross-examination, when somebody may kind of, if you're asking about the applicability of the code, that's a legal conclusion, and the witness is not there to testify to that. He's only there to testify to the facts, you douchebag. Well, that's actually not right. When you are on cross-examination, whoever happens to be, whether it's a cop or whoever, competency and credibility and all prior statements are the subject of a valid cross-examination. And Rule 602, I forget what it is exactly in California, so excuse me for that, but the rule for a witness having to have personal knowledge, if you are going to put a police officer on the stand and on direct examination and base your entire prosecution on his legal conclusion that the Constitution and Code apply because he's physically in California and that the laws apply and he violated them, well, then he's subject to cross-examination on those legal opinions. And you can say he doesn't have to prove that, but that's different than saying he's not qualified to testify, which is exactly what happens. So we went up on appeal on those issues, and as you can see, judgment reversed 3-0 with directions to dismiss the complaint. Now, I don't know if this is an appellate panel. I have no idea if that's what the 3-0 means. It could. I don't know. But this isn't the Court of Appeals. This is the appellate department of the Superior Court, the county court in California. So if that's 3-0, hey, that's fantastic. Good job. Even better job, Greg. If the prosecution had the evidence to prove territorial, personal, and subject matter jurisdiction, they would have provided it. If they had such evidence, then the judge would not have stepped all over and denied effective cross-examination from Greg, which led to the dismissal. And this is all that was written. The judge did not give a written decision explaining exactly why. And since the district attorney did not file a response, we have to go by the circumstantial evidence that the appellate brief that we filed was persuasive. They accepted that at least he was denied effective cross-examination, and they reversed with directions to dismiss the complaint. So big congratulations to Greg for that. And and again, it doesn't matter that it's just a traffic ticket. The same issues were raised that you will in a traffic, a more serious traffic, a criminal traffic, or you're talking even a felony possession charge, like what happened, So it's the same issue because the jurisdiction of the court, personal jurisdiction, territorial jurisdiction, subject matter jurisdiction all hinge on whether the laws apply. Again, you can sit there and you can piss and you can complain and you can bitch all you want, claiming they don't have to prove that. Yeah, that which can be asserted without proof can be dismissed without proof. Okay, it's that simple. If you don't have proof for your claim is BS. But if you think I am incorrect in my analysis, if you think I'm wrong, if you think that that there's actually evidence that this could have been thrown out for some other reasons that Greg did not raise and the prosecution didn't raise, that the judges did it on their own, bring your evidence forth. Again, we do a live broadcast most weeks. We're up, 4 hours most weeks. Bring your evidence, or just present it in a video, or present it at markstevens.net. Again, my name's Marc Stevens, and I look forward to your dissent, if there is any, and always a big, big congratulations to Greg for making a principled stand against the criminals there in Alameda County. And yes, I say they are criminals for no other. Here's my information, everybody. Here's the information that proves the proposition. They force everyone to pay them. That makes them criminals. But again, congratulations to Greg. And the website, markstevens.net.